cultural and diversity advocate for cultural literacy and equity in children's programming and education. The Culture Tree enables the youngest generation of South Asians residing in the United States towards their cultural heritage, its language, and arts. Instilling a deeply sensitive connection to one's own South Asian roots, the Culture Tree has been presenting several virtual events featuring South Asian prominent celebrities, actors, authors, cultural icons, and many more to empower more children of the South Asian community, giving them glimpses of all that the culture and its people have to offer. Recently, such a virtual event was organized by the Culture Tree in collaboration with the Consulate General of India, New York, featuring popular Bollywood actor, director, and writer Jugal Hansraj. The event saw much discussing on Jugal Hansraj's successful journey in the world of acting and writing, and saw a book reading of Jugal Hansraj's children's novel titled Cross Connection. Here are some highlights featuring the Culture Tree students and Jugal Hansraj.
I love to write. I think I also want to write a book. How did you decide what you wanted to write about?
Firstly, hi Ved. I think it's great that you love to write because since I was your age, I've been reading a lot of books, and around that time, I also actually started writing. I used to read a lot of stories, and I had a lot of stories in my head, so I would write them and get my mom to correct them for me, or for her to tell me if it's nice or not nice. So I think it's just great. The advice I would give you is, people will say this is what people like and that is what people. I think just write what you like. I think that's the first thing you can do is if you're enjoying it, chances are that most people who read it will enjoy it. So stick to what you like, stick to what you know, stick to what you believe in, and then automatically you'll see that it's coming out much better than if you try and, oh, this one told me I should write a story like this, or that friend told me, or that uncle or aunt told me to write a story like this. I think just write for the fun of it and write what you would like to read. If you like to read books and you want to know a kind of story, but no one's written it yet, you write it. That's the best advice I can give you. And how I started writing is, as I said, at your age, I used to write a lot of stories. I used to even draw uh, an illustration per chapter. Not very well, but it was a good, fun hobby for me. But when I grew up, the first thing I wrote professionally was my first film as writer and director was Roadside Romeo. It was an animation film for Disney, and I wrote that film because as I started writing the story, I got more and more attached to it. I had a lot of ideas. I just kept putting them down. And it took a long time. There was a lot of sending back of the drafts to me. I had to redo a lot of stuff. But that's okay. That's what writing is. Writing is about rewriting. So if you enjoy the process, it's great. That's how I first got into writing. So good luck. And I look forward to hopefully reading some great books or articles or stories from you. So this is the first book I've written. Actually, I have it right here. So it's got a lot of illustrations, and it's for like kids from 6 to. Let me show you some illustrations, like 6 to 10, and it's a lot of fun. So this is my first book. My second book I just completed writing. That's for little older kids. That's for roughly middle graders, I would say, and so that's still to get published. So I hope it's published soon, and I'll let you all guys know through Culture Tree when it does get published.
That's excellent. Ved, you had a follow-up question? You had your hand up?
I also was writing. I've also just written 2 pages of a nonfiction book.
Wow.
It's about crocodiles.
Wow, that's great. I love reading nonfiction too. In fact, nowadays I read more of nonfiction because you learn a lot more, right? So
Yeah.
if you're telling people about crocodiles, I think I would love to read that too. I love all this stuff, so that's great too. You can
I
write
like
both.
animals, so I
Yeah,
like animals, so I usually write nonfiction stories about animals.
that's great. You should just write what you like, as I said, and I'm sure others will like it too. Like, I would already be interested in reading this.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Great, great stuff. So it's Cross Connection, the big circus adventure, and these are all the animals in the circus. So yeah, let me show you the first illustration. That's the little bluebird on top of the branch tree. So chapter one. "It sure is good to be back home," said Uncle Jerry to no one in particular, as he took a deep breath and let the crisp and clear mountain air fill his lungs. He adjusted his spectacles and looked up at the sky, which was just starting to turn a light shade of pink. He had enjoyed his last few weeks with his brothers and sisters and their families who lived in the plains, but he was now back where he belonged. He smiled as he sprung from his perch and took flight. "Oops, I'm sorry, dear reader. I think I'm getting ahead of myself here. You must be wondering what this is all about. Let me backtrack a little bit and introduce you to Uncle Jerry and where we are in the story so that there's no confusion. As a wise old man, don't ask me who I've forgotten now, said, let's begin at the beginning. Our story begins in the outskirts of a charming little hill station called Kamalpur, nestled in the towering Himalayas in North India. Though it was towards the end of the winter season, the mountains still had their snow caps on. Perched atop one of the higher branches of a big, beautiful green oak tree was the wise old bluebird, Mr. Jerry